What's up, everybody? You're watching Joe Box TV, giving you my post-fight review for the Terence Crawford Jose Benavidez fight. Man, what a fight. I'll leave the link in the description down below to my post-fight write-up from my website, so be sure to check that out. Now, Crawford showed on Saturday night just why he's one of the best fighters in the sport, if not the best fighter in the sport. The way he systematically broke Benavidez down and made the proper adjustments was excellent. A lot of animosity between these two guys, so it had all the makings of a great fight, and I thought it delivered. Now, first round, Benavidez came out trying to control range and use his height and reach because he is a 6'2" welterweight and he's taller than Crawford. He is staying back at a distance trying to pot-shot Crawford with that right hand, and he is actually very competitive in that first round. You know, boxing from the outside might not seem like the best game plan against someone like Crawford, but you could tell what he was getting at. So Crawford made the adjustments right away. Second and third round, he started going to the body, which I thought was very smart of him. Put that money in the bank early, and as Teddy Atlas says, he put that water in the basement early. Terrific combinations to the body, and that, I believe, is what eventually slowed Benavidez down. Crawford easily controlled rounds 2 and 3. I thought in rounds 4 and 5, Benavidez started to come back, made a very good account of himself, got himself right back into the fight, landed some good straight right hands, and he tagged Crawford with a couple nice combinations. So I thought 4th and 5th were pretty close, like maybe Benavidez might have won one of those rounds. But in round 6, all of a sudden Benavidez just kind of goes to trying to land one shot at a time, trying to land one big punch. And he was nowhere near as busy as he needed to be, and it seemed as though maybe the body work may have took its toll on Benavidez. So first 4 or 5 rounds were a really good competitive fight. I thought maybe at that point it was 3 rounds to 2 for Crawford. Maybe even 3-2 Benavidez if you're being generous. From round 6 on, it was just complete domination for Terence Crawford. And you could tell that Benavidez was running out of ideas and was starting to look discouraged. Benavidez did the same thing that I had seen him do in recent fights, which is shell up, try to just catch the punches off his gloves, and gesture at the opponent, saying, "Come on in, is that all you got?" But you're not going to win rounds like that, and enough of the shots were getting through as to where Crawford had begun to easily win the rounds. Although I get why Benavidez wanted to stay on the outside, use his height and reach, and try to counterpunch, I didn't understand why, on some occasions where he would land one right hand, why he didn't double up the right hand. Because Benavidez would land a right hand, Crawford would crouch down like this, and it seemed like Benavidez had an opportunity to maybe land a few more shots, but he seemed content on throwing one punch at a time, as if Crawford might have caught him with something early that discouraged him from letting his hands go for too long. By the 12th round, everyone knew that Benavidez needed a knockout. He had won maybe 3 rounds at most, but Crawford had been just dominating from round 6 on. So Benavidez opens up, throws, I believe what was a right uppercut that missed, was thrown from a little bit too far away, and Crawford times him perfectly with this half hook, half uppercut that just puts him on his back. And even though Benavidez got up, you could tell that he was done. Crawford pounced on him and had Benavidez out on his feet. Referee had no choice but to step in. So from Arizona, I was supporting Benavidez, and I wanted to see him bring the title home to Arizona. And I did want to see him go the distance. There was maybe 20 seconds left in the fight. Crawford timed him perfectly. Benavidez finally began to really take the risks he needed to take in round 12, and he got caught for it. So congratulations to Terence Crawford. 3-division world champion. I have him number 2 pound for pound. And this was another amazing performance where he made all the proper adjustments. Now, in the post-fight interview, Benavidez claimed that his leg was bothering him, and I believe him because it was the same leg that had been shot back in August 2016, where he ultimately had to take some time off, got back into the sport in 2018, but he got shot in that same leg, and I saw him dragging that leg during several points of the fight. So maybe that affected his mobility. Maybe that's why he was so stationary throughout all those rounds. Nevertheless, one thing remains clear. Crawford made excellent adjustments, and I do think that body attack did play into it a lot as to why Benavidez slowed down. A great effort for Benavidez. I think it's a good learning experience for him. And maybe 2 years from now, you could still see him as a world champion at welterweight. As for Terence Crawford's next opponent, he says he wants everybody. But I think most boxing fans would tell you, let's bring on Errol Spence next. Hopefully we see that fight sooner rather than later. And at the moment, if I were to pick, I would lean towards Crawford because I just think Spence is too stationary. And we saw what Crawford can do against a stationary fighter. The way he uses that lateral movement and angles to systematically pick you apart and then get on the inside and make it a dogfight whenever he needs to. I think he's more multi-dimensional than Errol Spence is. And as good as Spence is at a dogfight, an inside fight, I think Crawford is going to be smart enough to stay on the outside and use that long jab and that tremendous ring IQ that's propelled him to his current status, which is, I believe, number 2 pound for pound. But again, it is a 50-50 fight. In the comments below, tell me who you think would win. What would be your prediction for Crawford versus Spence? Now let me briefly mention the undercard. Shakur Stevenson with a tremendous first round stoppage victory over Virel Simeon. I hope I pronounced that right, but it was a veteran opponent that Stevenson was going up against, and I thought he looked excellent in doing so. It didn't take long for Stevenson to find the mark and eventually put Simeon away. Simeon threw one left hook, kind of a wide left hook, and Stevenson beat him to the punch with a shorter right hook. That's what started it all. And then I believe there were one or two more knockdowns. I think he showed a very, very promising display of speed and power, especially at the young age, at the age of 21. So again, let me know what you thought of the whole card in the comments below. And until next time, Joe Box TV,